Greetings, and welcome to episode 2 of The Destiny, a family-friendly cinematic fantasy story, narrated and directed by me, Timothy Harris. As we go on this epic journey, make sure to share The Destiny with all your fiction-loving friends. They will not be disappointed. And now, without further ado, let us dive right into the amazing world of The Destiny. Our story begins 6 years after the death of Vargan, in the small city of Dimarius. Pucket and Elara have settled into this small town, and the wounds of a tragic death have almost healed. In this time, Elara gave birth to a baby girl and named her Myra. They now live in a small 2-story farmhouse about 20 minutes away from the main city. And that's where our story begins today. It's early in the morning when we first meet a now 16-year-old Pucket working out in a cornfield. Pucket has changed much over the years, both physically and emotionally. The thoughts of Vargan's death have never faded away from his mind, and the amulet that Vargan had given him has never left his person. Pucket, when he had first arrived in Dimarius, had many questions as to what had happened on that cursed day. But as salt is put on an open wound, Elara quickly dismissed the question and prohibited Pucket to ever ask it again. And he never did. Pucket walks slowly throughout the field, gathering corn and breathing calmly, as the sun slowly begins to rise over the slightly chilly green hills of Dimarius.
Pucket, come! It's time for breakfast.
Pucket recognizes this as his mother's voice and begins his walk back to the house. After a few minutes of walking, Pucket arrives. He walks inside and sets the basket of corn on the table. The smell of eggs and bacon waft throughout the house. Pucket steps into the kitchen next to his mother.
Oh, good morning, Pucket.
Elara kisses Pucket on the cheek and then smiles at him.
Mama, what's that smell? Is Pucket back yet?
A small young girl walks into the room. Her name is Myra. She is 39 and she is 6 years old. She rubs her sleepy eyes and then spots Pucket.
Pucket's back!
She runs across the room to Pucket and then hugs his right leg tightly. Why are you so surprised? I come back every day. Pucket chuckles and then lovingly rubs Myra's head. Come on, let's get some breakfast. Pucket, Myra, and Elara eventually all get their food and sit at the table. Everyone eats happily, and they all sit quietly for a few moments.
Oh, I forgot to tell you all about my dream last night.
Elara leans in toward Myra and smiles.
Tell us. Okay, it started black. I couldn't see anything. It was really scary. And then there was a light, and it got brighter and brighter and brighter until everything was light. And then I saw you, Pucket, standing there right in front of me. You were smiling. Then orange wavy lights came around you. They were so pretty. They swirled all around you and then, oh, I don't remember.
Myra chuckles and then continues to eat. Elara looks lovingly at Myra.
Well, that certainly is an incredible dream. Pucket, would you and Myra both go into town today? There are some things I need for tonight's dinner.
What's so special about tonight's dinner?
Well, if you must know, I've invited Tarian to have dinner with us tonight.
The village cleric?
Yes, I thought it might be good for you to get to know him a bit. He's quite a nice man. And his niece is quite a beautiful young lady as well.
Pucket shakes his head slightly and sighs with a slight grin on his face. Mama.
What?
Pucket chuckles slightly. Nothing. Alright, Myra, go get dressed. We need to leave in a few minutes. Myra nods, shovels the last of her eggs into her mouth, then quickly runs up the stairs to her room. Pucket walks to the door and then grabs a light cloak from off the wall, along with a backpack.
Be careful, alright? Don't go looking for trouble.
We won't. Pucket walks over to his mother, kisses her on the cheek. As soon as Pucket does, Myra runs down the stairs wearing a new dress.
Did you brush your teeth?
Myra groans, turns, and then runs back up the stairs. Both Pucket and Elara stand there, in a bit of an awkward silence for a moment. Mama?
Yes?
Never mind. Myra dashes down the stairs, and then stands at the bottom presenting herself.
Now I'm ready. Alright then, stick together, listen to your brother. Yes, Mama. Good girl then. Off you go.
With Myra now at his side, Pucket sets out toward the town, with a few silver coins left in his pocket. Many questions still linger in his head, but he knows that they cannot be answered. At least, not now. Eventually, Pucket and Myra arrive at Dimarius' town square. Dimarius is not known for much. In fact, many people don't even know it exists, which in some cases makes this place the perfect home for people who do not wish to be found. There are a few basic shops, a small city hall, a bell tower, and a library. Pucket, unlike many of the residents at Dimarius, loved the library. He found joy in being able to go to places that didn't exist. As they arrive, Myra gasps and runs over to one of the city hall's pillars.
Pucket, look! The festival of the new moon! It's in 2 days!
Really? Pucket's eyes light up when he sees a poster that has been plastered onto the pillar. The festival of the new moon is Dimarius' biggest event of the year. With delicious smoked meats, baked goods, and dancing, this festival is the highlight of most everyone who lives in Dimarius' year. That's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, do you think I can win the pie eating competition this year?
Well, I don't think you're allowed to compete, but I think if you were, you would definitely win. Pucket begins to walk up the stairs to the library.
I thought we were just getting groceries.
We will, after a quick visit inside the library.
Is this about Flora?
What? How could you think such a silly thing? Pucket and Myra both walk up the steps and open the large wooden doors to the library. As they walk in, they are greeted by a familiar voice.
Greetings and good morning, young ones. Fine morning, isn't it?
Standing behind a desk is a large man by the name of Tarian. Tarian is 6'2" and 51 years old. It is. How are you this morning, Tarian?
Quite fine. And yourselves?
We're all right.
Good morning, Tarian.
And a very good morning to you as well, little one. How may I help you both today?
Do you have anything new?
Well, let's see here, shall we?
Tarian bends down and picks up a decent-sized wooden crate filled with books.
I have the news from F.A. Earls.
He's created the new book.
Indeed he has.
Myra stands next to Pucket, with a bit of a bored expression on her face. She doesn't understand Pucket's obsession with strange places. She enjoys her life in Dimarius, and hasn't ever wished for more. As she stands there, she spots Tarian's small but helpful assistant, Marcus, a small brown owlbear. Marcus has always been a smarter than the average owlbear. He would sort books and light candles when needed, but every once in a while he would cause a bit of mischief. But his adorable owl eyes would always get him out of trouble. Myra spots the small owlbear crawling through the aisle. She runs over to him, hugs him, and begins to speak with him. Tarian stamps the book and then gives it to Pucket. Thank you, Tarian.
It is my pleasure.
How is your niece, Flora? Tarian chuckles under his breath.
She is well. We are meeting at your abode tonight, are we?
I believe so. That's why we are in town. Me and Myra are supposed to grab some ingredients for tonight.
Ah, well, don't let me stand in your way then. Off you go.
Pucket nods and then turns to Myra. All right, Myra, it's time to go. Myra picks herself off the floor, says bye to Marcus, and then walks out of the library with Pucket. All right, groceries.
Can I race you?
You can, I just don't think you would win. Myra sprints off toward the grocery store, attempting to get a head start in front of Pucket. Pucket chuckles and shakes his head. What? That's cheating. Pucket and Myra eventually finish with getting groceries. They greet a few other townsfolk, and while walking back, they spot the poster for the Festival of the New Moon once more. The sun begins to set, and the air begins to get slightly colder as they walk. The both of them walk for about 15 minutes in silence, both of them tired from the long day. But as they are walking, Pucket's ears perk up as he hears something. A voice, soft, almost indistinguishable from the wind. Pucket. Myra, do you hear that? Hear what? Pucket looks around, then pushes his hair back. Nothing. Are you thinking about Flora again? What? No. The two of them continue to walk on the path, as the colors of the sunset get slightly more and more vibrant by the minute. But as they walk, Pucket tries to dismiss the thought of the voice. But the sound still lingers in his mind. This voice sounded familiar? Eventually the two of them make it back to the house. The sky darkens and brightens at the same time as the sun begins to dip underneath the green hills of Dimarius. As they walk inside, Elara seems to be baking bread. She spots them, hangs up her apron, and walks over to the both of them. How was your trip? It was fine. Here are the ingredients you asked for.
Mama, the Festival of the New Moon. It's in 2 days. Goodness, it's already that time of year. Guess we'll have to go, won't we? Alright, now go on, get yourselves cleaned up before our guests arrive.
Myra quickly runs up the stairs and into her room, while Elara takes the basket of food, walks into the kitchen, and begins to prepare for the meal. Pucket, though, doesn't move. He takes a long breath, and then walks into the kitchen. Mama. Yes? May I ask you something?
Of course, anything, dear.
I heard a voice today. It said my name. What does that mean? Elara pauses from cutting the bread. She sighs. It was probably just your imagination. Yes, of course. Elara turns and continues to cook. Can I want to know why the soldiers attacked us that day. Pucket, I told you never to talk about that ever again. Then when do I get answers? That's not important anymore, dear. It's not important. My father died that day. It's not what I meant. A knock on the door splits the heated conversation. Pucket feels a bit of frustration in his soul. And although he knows Elara is just trying to protect him, he feels as if she is unintentionally causing him more pain. Pucket pushes back the tears swelling up in his eyes and takes a breath as Elara opens the door. Standing there is Tarian and his niece, Flora. Flora is 16 years old and is 5'8".
Greetings and good evening, Elara. We brought a gift for you all.
Just a few spells that would help chores around the house. Well, thank you both so much. Oh, I'm sorry. Please come in.
Elara, would you like an extra set of hands in the kitchen?
I would. It would be most appreciated.
Tarian and Elara walk into the kitchen together and continue talking while they cook, while Pucket and Flora stand across from each other. Flora lifts her head slightly and smiles.
It's so nice to see you again, Pucket. We haven't really talked in quite some time.
Flora walks across the room, and hugs Pucket. He freezes for half a second before awkwardly returning the gesture of kindness. I'm glad you're here. I am too. Myra, now in a nicer green dress, runs down the stairs and sees the two of them talking and stands beside Pucket. Hi, Flora. Flora squats down in front of Myra. Hi, Myra. How are you today? Really good. The festival is in 2 days. I know. Are either of you competing in the games this year? Probably not. Myra's too young and I'm not really a competitive guy. I don't believe that. Look, I need a partner for the Hero's Maze. If I want any chance of winning this year, would you want to be my partner? Oh, sure. I mean I'd love to. Great. Dinner is ready. Go sit at the table. Pucket, Flora, and Myra all make their way to the table and sit down. Tarian walks in from the kitchen and sits as well. A few moments later, Elara walks into the dining room with 2 big plates in her hands and sets them both on the table. The first plate has a large roasted axe beak breast on it, and the other plate has some sort of purplish potato food and a large serving of green beans. No way, this is my favorite meal out of all the meals. Well, I'm glad. Now, bow your heads. Aladdin, we thank you for the stay. We pray for peace, safety, and
Elara.
And
Elara. He must know who he is.
Myra lifts her head slightly and peeks through her folded hands, anxiously waiting for Elara to finish. Yes, safety and peace. Amen. Everyone lifts their heads and begins to pass around and take food off of the 2 plates. But Elara dismisses both of them. The night goes on, laughs are shared, and looks are exchanged, and questions and untold answers remain stagnant. Eventually, Flora and Tarian leave the small farmhouse, and Pucket and Flora exchange one last look before her and Tarian quietly walk away into the night. Pucket lays quietly in his bed, his eyes open, his thoughts clouded, his emotions confused, and his questions unanswered. Why did the soldiers come? What was the voice? Who am I? Several hours later, his eyelids get heavy and his racing mind quiets and allows him to sleep. Pucket wakes the next morning, but as soon as he does, he can't help but feel angry. Why? Why won't she tell me anything? Why must I go on wondering, questioning what happened that day? Why the soldiers came and killed my father? Pucket puts on clothes and then walks downstairs. Good morning, Pucket. I need to go out to the field. Before you've eaten anything? Yes, I need to be alone. Myra runs down the stairs in her nightgown and smiles at Pucket. Can I come? No. Pucket catches himself before he can say anything else, and then walks out of the door, which closes a little louder than usual. Mama, why is Pucket so mad? He's not mad, darling. He's just lost. But how can he be lost? He's right here at home. You'll understand when you are older. Pucket finds an old oak tree on a grassy hill and sits. Hours pass by. A peace washes over him as he is able to focus his mind. After a few hours, Pucket hears footsteps behind him. He turns quickly and sees Tarian walking up behind him. Pucket sits, looking forward into the horizon, while Tarian walks next to him and then sits.
Greetings and good morning, young one.
Pucket sits looking forward, unfazed by Tarian's friendly gesture. Tarian sighs long and hard, then turns over to Pucket with a warm smile on his face.
What troubles you, young one?
Nothing.
Pucket, a cleric always knows. I think you also know that answer is untrue.
Pucket lets out a long sigh. Have I ever told you what brought us to Dimarius?
I believe your mother has.
She hides the truth from me. I deserve to know why Vargan died that day. I just want the truth.
Ah, yes. Truth. Truth is a scary thing, you see. It's wild and hard, and sometimes it kills.
Then why do I feel this way? Why do I want it?
Because the truth is something everyone deserves. It must be presented gently, though. See the truth as a dagger. If handed to you recklessly, it could possibly hurt you. But when given to you thoughtfully, it is now your weapon against the evil forces of this world. Give her time, so that she may equip you for what is to come.
Pucket turns and wraps his arms around Tarian. Thank you.
It is my deepest pleasure. And when she tells you the truth, make sure to grab it by the handle. Because the people who grab truth by the blade end in ruin.
Eventually, Pucket makes his way back to the house. And although the truth continues to stay hidden from him, he clings to Tarian's words of wisdom. As the sun sets, the villagers prepare for the festivities tomorrow. Lanterns are strung, food is baked, and the expectations rise. Hours pass by, the night ends, and the next day begins. The day of the festival of the new moon. The day all of Dimarius' 100 residents come together to celebrate the coming of the Crimson Star. Many people rumor that the Crimson Star was once an ancient sorcerer who gave his life form as an elf to become a star so that he could be forever with the eye of the cosmos. A beautiful story to be sure. As the morning begins, a handful of the townsfolk set up booths for the festivities. The smell of wine and fresh apple pies waft through the air. Pucket awakes to hear Myra shouting from downstairs. He can't quite make out what she's saying, so he puts on clothes, then walks downstairs. Myra runs up beside him.
Pucket, Pucket, you have to get ready fast. The festival is about to start.
Pucket sees Elara at the bottom of the stairs looking at him, with a concerned look on her face. Pucket feels a bit embarrassed, but despite that, he softens and attempts to smile. All right then, let me go get my shoes on. As Pucket walks up the stairs, Elara's expression lightens, and a few moments later, Pucket comes back down the stairs. I'm guessing we're eating breakfast at the festival?
That's the plan. All right now, let's go.
Myra tugs at Elara's dress and tries to pull her toward the door.
All right, we can go now.
The three of them walk toward the town, share a few words, until they see it. The festival of the new moon. The square looks wondrous. Lanterns and banners are hung from the rooftops. The smell of pies and freshly grilled meats linger in the air as the shouts of those cheering and lute, flute, and drum-playing bards encourage the imagination of any who enter. Pucket looks towards the west and sees a large wooden maze with a big banner on the outside that reads, "The Maze of Champions." Pucket swallows hard as he thinks about having to compete. At least it's with Flora, he thinks. The three walk to the nearest food stall and purchase several breakfast plates. The three of them eat and then continue to walk and explore the rest of the festival. They see all kinds of fantastical competitions taking place, archery tournaments, axe beak riding, and a spicy pie eating contest where the pies are all made out of dragonfire berries. After many hours of singing, eating, and drinking, the sun begins to set on the hills of Dimarius. After a few moments, a man, wearing adventurer's clothing, gets up onto a small wooden stage with his sword drawn.
Boys and girls, tonight is the night you have all been waiting for. Tonight we will see who will be the champion of the maze. The maze is simple, but the closer you get to the end, the harder the puzzles get, and the more magic conjured monsters you will fight. And the first person to complete the maze will be given a grand total of 100 gold pieces. Now, pair up with your partner, grab a weapon, and make your way to the starting line. As the children line up, a disclosure for everyone. The monsters in the arena are magical and controlled by my spell. No child will be hurt in the maze.
Pucket looks around, searching the crowd to try to find Flora. He moves left and right around the crowd, trying to find her, but he cannot. And just when he thinks that he won't complete, Pucket spins around to see Flora running up behind him.
Oh, I was worried you were not going to show up.
I wouldn't do that to you. I mean, yeah. Flora chuckles, then takes Pucket's hand and leads him to the weapons bucket that is filled with an array of wooden weapons. Here, you'll want a dagger so that you can move fast. Oh, okay. Yeah, you know more about this than I do.
Once you have taken your weapon, make your way to the starting line.
Pucket and Flora walk to the white painted starting line, and as they stand next to each other, they share a bit of an awkward silence. A man walks down the line and begins to bind the hands of the competitors to ensure they won't abandon their teammate. He makes it all the way to the end, down to Pucket and Flora, and begins to bind their hands. As the man ties the ropes together, Pucket meets Flora's eyes, and they share a moment. You think you're ready, Pucket? Yeah, I think so.
Now that everyone's hands have been bound to their partners, it is time for the maze.
All of the contestants bend down and ready themselves for the call.
On your mark.
Pucket's heart begins to race.
Get set.
Pucket's grip tightens on his dagger.
Go!
As the announcer shoots off a firebolt into the sky, all of the youth dash off quickly and into the maze, each taking different passages and ramps. But Pucket and Flora don't.
Flora, shouldn't we go?
No. If we run into it and don't think, we'll have no idea where we are going.
I got it. Come on. Flora dashes forward and Pucket stumbles forward with her.
We're going left.
The two of them turn left quickly, and as they round the corner, they see a glowing, floating beholder. It growls and begins to move closer to them.
Pucket, throw your dagger.
Pucket rears back his arm and chucks his dagger at the beholder. It flies through the air and then strikes the beholder in its middle eye. The beholder stops and explodes with sparkling blue magic. Pucket covers his face and then is yanked forward again as Flora darts forward again. Outside the maze, Elara and Myra stand next to one another, watching anxiously as the challengers run in. She takes a long breath, relieved that Pucket's mind is lighter. Tarian walks and stands next to Elara.
Are you alright?
Yes. He's just so curious.
Well, what's wrong with curiosity?
You know what's wrong with curiosity.
You are correct. His curiosity is dangerous.
But it is better for him to know now.
When he's safe, than for us to tell him when it is too late.
Elara takes a long breath, and although she refuses to believe it, she knows Tarian is right.
Tarian, is Marcus with you?
He is. Would you like to see him?
Yes.
Tarian takes out a small white stone with an owl face on it. He brings it close to his mouth, utters some sort of spell under his breath, then drops the stone out of his hand. As the stone falls, a small cloud of white fog poofs out, and Marcus appears.
Marcus!
Myra hugs the small owlbear tightly as Marcus nuzzles against her. Elara sits on a bench and continues to watch the outside of the maze. Inside the maze, Pucket and Flora continue running. They find a few dead ends, but quickly find their way around them. Pucket and Flora turn the corner and see two iron chests sitting next to each other. Flora runs up to one of them, opens it, and finds some sort of magical wayfinder. She presses the button on top, and a stream of blue fog shoots out and quickly runs around the maze.
Come on, Pucket. Grab whatever's inside the chest and then let's go.
Pucket runs up in front of the chest, grips his fingers around the handle, and just as he's about to lift the lid, a small red eye blinks open and stares at him. Pucket freezes having seen the eye. Flora, I don't think this one is it. The chest lid springs open to reveal huge teeth and a long slobbery tongue.
It's a mimic!
Outside the maze, Tarian hears Pucket scream.
A mimic. Inside the maze.
Tarian quickly walks over to the announcer.
Did you put a mimic inside that maze?
No. It's probably just the magic would be my guess. Sometimes, the children get scared if they see a particularly frightening monster.
I know Pucket, and he is not the type to be easily frightened. I can't believe you didn't expect the chest. There's a mimic in that maze. I'm going in.
Tarian storms off toward the entrance to the maze, and Elara runs up beside him.
Is there really a mimic in there with him?
I believe so. I'm going in.
Well, then I'm coming with you.
Alright then.
The two of them rush into the maze, looking left and right for any sign of Pucket and Flora. As both of them ran further into the maze, Pucket jumped back as the mimic popped open, its 7 eyes crazy with hunger, its crusty jaws open, bared at Pucket. Pucket fumbles back at getting himself up as Flora tries to help him. The mimic smacks its jaws a few times, then its long, slobbery tongue shoots out and wraps around Pucket's ankle. Pucket lands on the ground with a sickening thud. Pucket then takes out his dagger and begins to cut the ropes around his and Flora's hands, while Flora pulls hard, trying to get her footing and keep Pucket from being enveloped by the jaws of this monster. Pucket saws quickly through the ropes until they snap apart. Go get help! Flora's frightened eyes meet Pucket's, and she runs off into the maze, following the white fog. Pucket takes his dagger and tries to stab the mimic's wriggling tongue, but despite his best efforts, he can't land a blow. As Pucket is pulled closer and closer by the mimic's tongue, he tries to find something to hold on to. He finds a loose wood board, stores his dagger, and holds on as tight as he can. The pull starts to weaken, and he begins to think the mimic has given up, until he looks down and sees that the mimic is hopping closer and closer to him. Pucket pulls back out his dagger, but loses his grip, and the dagger fumbles out of his hand and away from him. Alone and afraid, by instinct, Pucket reaches deep into his coat pocket and pulls out the glowing amulet, and just as the mimic opens its jaws wider to swallow Pucket whole, he thrusts the amulet forward. Pucket's eyes widen as electric energy courses through every fiber of his being and into the amulet as it shoots out and at the mimic. The amulet stops. Pucket is breathing very heavily. He holds the amulet forward and looks at the mimic that is now laying on the ground. He fumbles onto his feet and sees the mimic with a large seared hole straight through its head. As he stares at the damage, Flora rounds the corner with Tarian and Elara. The three of them stop and see Pucket holding the now stagnant amulet. Their eyes go down and see the mimic, dead, with a lightning-carved tunnel straight through it. What just happened? Pucket, I think it's time that I answer some of your questions. But that is all for this episode. If you're ready to follow the journey of the greatest heroes of all time, join us by subscribing to The Destiny. And if you know someone who would love this kind of story, what are you waiting for? Send it to them and let them experience the Destiny with you. But until we meet again, may you rise to your destiny.